We are starting a little early. Give us 3 minutes and fast forward. Making sure everything is connected. Okay, Twitch shows connected. We're trying on YouTube. Let me know when YouTube connects. Or, I'm sorry, Facebook connects. So if you're watching this on my private Facebook page, QFOM Gray, do consider moving over to Q Talk. That is the my group page that I have been posting all of the videos where this is week 43. So I don't know, 90 videos have been posted over on that page. So if you're looking for some more information and you want to join along, do move over to the Q Talk Facebook page because all of the information's there. Every month I've been posting a schedule so you know what we are looking forward to. So the fun fact for today is apparently today is National Clean Your Desk Day. But you know, most of us, we don't have desks. We have workbenches, especially with what you're doing here. So had I known that, I would have moved Wednesday's Wednesday's video about building your studio to today. It would have made sense, but hey, what do I know? This is what I use Facebook for, is to inform me of these national days. You know, it's sort of like National Eat Cake Day, which is not today, which is a day, it's something I could use for today. But anyway, actually, what else can I use for today? More tea. So one more minute before we get started here. So if you're watching a video, if you're watching a recording, just fast forward. So today we are simulcasting on 2 Facebook pages, Twitch and YouTube. So if you're out there in Twitch land, hello. And if you're out there in YouTube land, hello there too. Everybody else on Facebook, I know you're there. We're always there on Facebook. So, you know, of all places, if you can't find me on Twitch or YouTube, usually you can find me on Facebook, probably, because the other two I find a little, sometimes it's just a little bit hesitant or whatever it is that's going on. Anyway, so I hope everybody had a great weekend. It was a good weekend here. Drove home from Pennsylvania on Saturday. It was a beautiful day for a drive. Freezing cold out, but it doesn't matter. I'm in a car and there's heat and I have a blanket and it's all good. So yeah, that. So we're waiting for 1 o'clock here. We're going to start in just a minute. Are you ready, Andy? Okay, it's 1 o'clock. As always, Andy is with me in my ear as my producer. He tells me everything that's going on. If you have questions out there on Twitch or Facebook or any of those, do post them and Andy will let me know. I'm actually just opening up my chat window here. I don't always check the chat window because it's hard to scroll and see what's going on, but Andy does relay it to me in my ear, and that's why he is here. So as mentioned before, I am simulcasting today on Facebook Live, on the Q Talk page, my QFOM Gray page, Twitch, and on YouTube. So if you're out there, do us a favor, give us a little like, or on Twitch especially, just say hello, tell us where you're watching from, because it's always good for the algorithm and we do need that support. Okay, so what are we doing today? We are doing the last of the hot and cold series of can't even think. So hot and cold has been sister projects of very similar projects, and they are complementary to the book Hot and Cold. If you haven't gotten the book yet, it is on our website at theurbanbeater.com. But so the project today is called the Tuxedo Pendant. So all the projects for the last, 6 weeks, right? 6 weeks. Because I think this is project number 4. So all the projects has one cold connected project and one hot connected project, and they are similar to each other. So the whole point is so that you learn different techniques on how to approach your design. So hopefully this was helpful. We call this a tuxedo pendant because it sort of reminds me of a tuxedo, although this one looks more like a tie. So there we go. It is what it is. So going forward though, after we are done with this hot project, we have a Monday in there, which I haven't scheduled. But after that, we are going to be doing enamels. So if you are ready to jump into something a little bit different, a little bit new, add a little motley to your metal, that means color, to your metal. We will be starting that in just a couple weeks. We do have a kit for all the weeks of like the next 8 weeks of enamel projects. It's called the Motley Metal Kit, and it is again on our Urban Beater website, so you can take a look for it there and join us anyway. So I see out there New Jersey and PA. Thanks for saying hi. Thanks for swinging in. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So what do you need for today's project? Again, we're doing the coal project, so it'll be this one. Okay, so what you'll need is, of course, you'll need a bench block, a leather mallet, a chasing hammer of any kind is going to be very helpful. Of course, you're going to need a file because we're cutting metal, and you always need a file to file down those rough edges because, you know, you don't want to be wearing all this stuff. And you'll need some sandpaper to make it even nice and softer, and a pair of shears to cut the metal with, because what else are we going to cut the metal with? A center punch, because we're going to drill a little hole today. If you don't have a flex shaft, you'll need that, or a pin vise. A pin vise is a little bit harder, and it takes a lot more work because you got to do it by hand. It's sort of like a hand drill. So a flex shaft is definitely going to be a lot easier. A pair of Keiba cutters is what we always recommend for our heavy duty cutters because it cuts through basically anything. Oh my gosh, this thing is rated for 10 gauge metal. We're only going to cut down to 12 gauge today, but this is a beast. If you don't have this on your workbench, you need a pair. Anyway, again, on our website, some sort of a round form to shape around. So I have here a 1/2 inch dowel rod, and you'll need a Sharpie, of course, or you know what, now that I'm looking at this, heck, you can shape around your large Sharpie. It's about the same size, so that'll work, okay? And so for metals, what will you need? You know, all the projects are interchangeable. So if you don't have the copper and you have it in silver, you can definitely do it in silver. If you don't have it in brass, you can do it in copper, and so on and so forth. So you can switch this up all you want. But what I'm using today is I have a piece of brass texture sheet. Of course, it's scrap because, you know, I have way too much jewelry. I have some 12 gauge copper. I also have some, what did I decide this was? Oh, 22 gauge silver, and of course I have a corresponding drill bit to go with it because we're going to rivet these pieces together. Some 16 gauge copper also. Okay, so there we go. Let's get started. Oh, I forgot to mention an oval template is really helpful, but you don't have to have it because you can always draw your own. And here's a hint: if you can't draw a perfect oval, most of us can't, you can also get on the internet, and I'm not going to say go to Amazon and buy one of these templates, although you could do that. What you can do is you can get on the internet and you can Google it, you know, shapes and whatnot, and print it up and use that as a template. So you can print up an oval. If you don't know how to do it on, or you don't have programming to do it on your computer, you can Google all these things, print it up, and then you would just paste it onto your metal and use that as a template. Why not, right? You know what? Another thing I discovered along the way too is graph paper. Not many people keep graph paper anymore. Well, I've since purchased graph paper, but there was a while there that I really needed some graph paper, but I didn't want to drive the 15 miles to get to the store to get graph paper. And I discovered that if I just Googled graph paper, somebody has it out there, and you just print it and boom, you've got graph paper. So that's pretty cool, right? So anyway, that's my story. Here we go. I'm just going to pick an oval. We'll go with the similar one to what I had before, and I'm just going to trace it down. Okay, so the drill bit was the question was, what size drill bit are we using? The corresponding drill bit to 22 would be number 70. Just to let you know, I do have a chart on the qfarmgray.com site of charts. So you can look on there, so you don't have to memorize all these things. The drill bit sizes that correspond with the gauges, okay? So here, I'm gonna trim this just a little bit. It'll make my life a little bit easier. And actually, I forgot, I have curved shears. So why not make my life easier and use a curved shear since I am cutting a curved shape. So remember, curved shears make cutting curves a lot easier than straight shears, but curved shears cannot cut straight, whereas straight shears can cut both straight and curves, right? Right. Okay, you get what I'm saying. So I'm just going to cut this here like so. And we're just going to trim this, make it really nice. And I like to flip mine over because, you know, I find that the tracing always confuses my eye. So I like to look at it from the back side to see the clean side of it, and it helps me identify where all I need to trim. From here, what you'll do is you'll take out your file, and we'll file these edges as needed to take down any sharp edges like so. I'm not going to worry about this edge here because I'm going to cut it off anyway. No problem there, right? So here we're just going to file till we're happy. I know it's really hard to be happy right now with everything that's going on, but we're going to keep filing till we're happy. I'm sorry, Andy. Andy said that the Browns won last night. Actually, they nailed it last night, and I should be happy. And Ohio State is playing tonight, and supposedly they're going to do very well, and I should be happy about that too. Right. Go ahead. I'm really excited about this. So I'm just going to put this back on the bench block and flatten it. Okay, I'll pull out some steel wool to clean off the markings. Let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit for you here. There we go. Okay, so while I'm doing this, what's really funny is last week I was wearing a burnt orange shirt, and there was some discussion about me having two color shirts. So what's sort of funny is apparently the lighting up here on my face and the lighting on my hands are two different things, even though I'm in the same room, and that it showed that my sleeves were pink. No, I would never put pink with burnt orange. It was the same shirt, and it's sort of interesting how cameras and lighting will change the color. So weird, right? So let's see, what color is this one? It's blue. Okay. It's blue up here too, as far as I can tell anyway. So here what I'm doing is I'm just cleaning off that Sharpie mark and just making that nice and clean. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to pull out my 12 gauge wire, and I'm just going to make a teardrop. You can make whatever shape you want, but this is just sort of the design that I was going with. Okay, and like I mentioned, let's go ahead and use the Sharpie, and I'm just going to bend this around and make a teardrop shape like so. Ooh, and you know what's funny is I'm using a piece of scrap wire, and I have just enough on that scrap wire to do this. Huh, who knew? Let's see, it's about the right, wow, look at that. It's about the same size. I'm going with it. But that's how you would make a teardrop. It's pretty simple. Next, I'm going to pull out my heavy duty cutters, and I'm going to cut a miter right in there so that this comes together perfectly, okay? I'll go ahead and zoom in just a little bit more for you, so you can see what I mean by miter. What's so interesting to me about this is I find that cutting a miter is so easy for me, apparently. Apparently it's not so easy for everybody else. So I guess this is a technique, but notice I am just cutting it in a diagonal, right? And I'm gonna have this come together. Didn't cut it well. Okay, so you can see one side is longer than the other. I'm just going to trim that back then. No big deal. Again, it's just copper. I want this to be a little bit better. Is that better? Yep. See? Nice and even. We'll pull out the file because I have a little bit of a burr on the inside. So we'll go ahead and file that on the inside. So I'm going to pull this apart just a little bit. I want it to be nice and flush. like so. And then we'll do the other side. There we are. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm filing to get these edges nice and flush and to take off that burr, and I'm going to bend these together to get those edges together. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my nylon nose pliers and bend this like so. And this might need a little bit more adjusting. There we are. There we are. You see, it's starting to come together. Okay? And I'm going to push it past itself like so. You see that? And crisscrossing it so that when I pull it back, this is a fairly heavy piece of metal, so it's going to take a little bit of strength to do this. I'm trying to do this completely cold. If you're finding that you're fighting the metal, you might need to anneal it with a torch. But for those of you who don't have a torch, you're left with fighting this. Okay. Okay, so here you can see I still have a gap. So I have two choices. I can pull out my saw and try to saw that down. I can open it back up and file it some more, or I can take out my cutter and try to cut it. I'm gonna go with the quick and dirty way. I'm gonna cut it, okay? Because that's the kind of girl I am. I'm definitely a cutter. There we go. It didn't cut that right, so I'm going to cut again. Wah. Again, you need to decide what works for you in this case, right? Okay, so I'm going to open that up just a little bit more. I'm going to need to file that because I cut it and I have a burr. If your cutters are flush, you will not need to do this. Mine are semi-flush. Okay. And again, pull out those nylon nose. Let's do this. There we go. Much better. Ooh. Sometimes you're going to need to pull out two pairs of pliers because you need the leverage. Maybe you're not strong enough, and what's nice is the pliers will get you there. There we go. Okay, so that's close enough. So you want this as close as possible. You see that? I'm going to take off that sharp edge just a little bit. It's a little sharp for me, even though it's not going to matter later. Okay, so because we are not soldering this together, you need this to come together and be as close and as tight as possible. What you'll also find is you can see I'm struggling to move the metal because it's so heavy, and that's how I'm getting away with creating this connection and not worrying about it for, you know, potentially somebody breaking it or whatnot. They would have to yank on this really hard for that to happen. And you can see on the back here, this is cold connected. Yep, despite the fact I'm putting a wire in here, it will hold. The teardrop is 12 gauge wire. I'm sorry, the question was, is a teardrop 16 gauge wire? No, the teardrop is 16 gauge wire, okay? And I didn't grab a fine tip Sharpie, so hold on. Oh, I'm sorry, I just repeated myself. Hold on, my bad. I'm sorry. The teardrop is 12 gauge wire, not 16. The middle one is going to be 16. Sorry. Put that in writing for me, Andy. By the way, the information on this project is on the Q-Talk page. You can also purchase a download of the instructions for all of $5, and actually it's going to be both for the cold and the hot connection for the $5, okay? So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my teardrop as my template, and I'm just going to trace it. And that's how I know it's going to be perfect, okay? So then we'll pull out our shears and trim that. So another way you could have approached this is you could have cut this V out first and then created your teardrop to fit this. I personally find this to be a little bit easier. Okay, so we're just going to trim that all the way down, like so. Okay. And then we'll flatten that again. And you'll see here, this should be nice. Okay. So next up, we're going to pull out the 16 gauge wire. So I'm just going to cut off a little bit here. And I'm going to cut off about 3 inches to work with. It's better than working up with this whole entire piece. Like so. We'll set that aside. And so we're going to hammer this end here with a chasing hammer. Because what we're going to do is we're going to flatten the end of the wire so that it splays out and gives me enough space to drill the hole. Okay? I'm going to flatten it out. Not much, just about 1/8. Oh, I'm struggling today. I don't know why. Hold on, I'm going to straighten that out a little bit. So you want to splay this out enough to have enough room for your drill bit, okay? So right in there. I'm going to give myself just a little bit more room. All right. And then I'm going to bend this around the piece, okay? I'm going to start with this here. We'll pull out a pair of chain nose pliers. Oops. And you can mark this if you want. I'm just going to eyeball it, okay? Just like so. Nice and tight, okay? Because it's going to have to come around a very thin piece of metal. So you want that pretty tight. So I'm going to tighten that up a little bit more. Be careful when you're doing this. Do it slowly and gently, okay? Oops, I forgot. Oh, shouldn't have done that yet. Okay, so here you need to hammer the back side here, this wire here, because we're going to drill through the metal to the back one so that it all connects, right? So you do need to hammer this area here before you go too far, so that you have a little area to work with. Okay, I made a critical mistake. I so apologize. I'm going to open this up. And I'm going to switch hammers. I'm going to make my life a little bit easier, and I'm going to use this hammer. I need a smaller one yet. Hold on. Okay. This is a plenishing hammer. Okay, so you see that? I flattened the back part just a little bit to make it easier to drill through, right? And you need to splay that just so, or flatten it just so, to create enough space to drill through, okay? Okay. I know I'm asking for a lot. This part of it is sort of complicated, and I'm asking for a lot here. But you can do it. Whether or not I can do it, that's a different story. We're going to find out here in a second, aren't we? Okay, so I'm just flattening that out, and I'm straightening all this up. Okay, so let's slip this in here. It should be good and tight. Oh, too tight. But I'm going to push it in. Wow. Yeah, see, I went a little bit too far. Hold on. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna pull out my knife. Yup. Hey, check it out. A butter knife. Which, Andy says he was looking for this. No, you weren't. Such a liar. He was not looking for this. I don't even know where I got this one from, so don't even start with me, mister. He's whispering stupid things in my ear, okay? There we go. Okay, so there it is. It's nice and I opened it up just so to get this in because clearly I made this too small, but I'm going to go ahead and pinch it on there now. Yes, yes, dear, you cracked yourself up. Okay. So now you need to determine how much wire you're going to bend over because we're going to have to flatten the other side too. So let's help ourselves again and pull out our divider, which has gone missing here. So we're going to pull out a ruler. Why not measure it? All right, so we're going to measure it from, let's take a look. Sorry, a little bit of a fumbled mess today. So we're going to measure it from where, okay, there it is. From here to here, right? And that's going to be the length of our wire. So this is going to be, approximately 15 millimeters. So then we'll move this here and measure 15 millimeters up here. I want a little bit of an overlap, so I'm going to give it a little bit extra for the overlap. About 3 millimeters is okay. We'll trim it and pray I did that right. Okay, come on. Hands aren't working today either. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and splay this end of it, okay? And again, it's going to be about 1/8 of an inch. So I'm being told that you can use a butter knife for fold forming. So see? Now, there is a thing called a jeweler's knife. I'll show you what that is here in a second. And you can use that too. And I'm feeling like I'm a bit long. I'm going to do that again. Hold on. I need to go, 15. Okay, yeah, I measured that wrong. Okay, you can see that. I measured that wrong. I'm gonna go, yeah, I'm gonna do that again. So much for that measure twice thing, huh? But what's nice is if you do this a lot, you can start eyeballing things and recognize that. Clearly, I saw that. Okay. And of course, the wire is going to stretch just a little bit. So make sure, actually, and you got to make sure it's in there. That's still feeling pretty long. It is. See, you know what? I know what my problem was. I didn't move this. I didn't have it in the right position. So just keep adjusting. One more reason why I'm working with copper. Haha. Okay, so there we are. Let's try that again. And again, I didn't have it snapped into place clearly when I measured it. Okay, so we're going to bend this down. Whoops. As tight as I can. Yep. There we are. Okay, sorry. It's not a good day. It's not a good Monday. I totally screwed up. We're going to have to do that again. Why? What did I screw up? I forgot to put the teardrop in. Hello? So I'm going to bend this anyway. I don't think it's going to reach, but why not? Yeah, I forgot to put the teardrop in. So there's a teardrop, and this is going to be too short. Yep. Sigh, sigh, so sorry. Hey, practice makes perfect. Sort of where I'm at. So we'll cut another piece, and we'll do it one more time. Sorry, guys. You know, this is what happens when you're working live, no editing. And this is how we work through it. But it'll be easier and better the second time, right? Maybe. Maybe. I'm going to eyeball that. And we're going to bend this around. One person says it's Monday, and another person tells me to get with it. I'm working on it, Laura. I'm working on it, okay? I'm trying to get with it. Here we are. Okay, so good. Pull out my hammer. We'll hammer that back side and make it nice and flat. It'll stretch it just a little bit. Okay, there we are. You see how there's a curve in it? I'm going to straighten that here to make it easier on my life. To straighten that. And then back again, we're going to tighten this up. Be careful not to let it slip or else you'll pinch your fingers. Not that I've ever done that before 3 times in a row. Okay. And slip it back in. Yep. Take a quick measurement. With the teardrop this time. Not the easiest thing to do, but we'll do it there. And so we are at like 18 with an overlap, so we'll go to like 19. Okay. Yes, dear. I know. Head in the way. So right about there. All right, we'll trim that and hammer it again. I do appreciate all the encouragement out there. Okay, nice and flat. All right, I'm also going to go ahead and center punch this here. And there's somebody knocking at the door. Did you guys hear that? Andy, are you going to leave me and go find out who's at the door? Okay, so here I'm going to center punch this on this blade end because I'm going to bend it over and we're going to need something to drill into, right? Oh, geez. It is definitely Monday. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there we are. I'll put this in and then we're going to bend this over and pray that it worked. Are you saying a little prayer? Say a little prayer for me. Come on. Very, there we go. Oh my gosh. Oh, it is definitely one of those days. Okay, I missed. I totally missed. I missed by, oh, 2 millimeters. Unbelievable. Okay, I'm going to keep moving, and actually, you know what? What the heck? We'll put 2 rivets in it. Initially, the goal was to overlap this and to to rivet once, not twice. We'll rivet twice. What the heck, right? I did flatten the backside enough to do that with, so I'll go ahead and do it like so. This was not the easiest of designs, let's be honest. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and pull out our flex shaft, put our drill bit in. Yes, so the question was make 2 rivets, 1 on each end of the wire. The answer is yes. If you screw up, if you didn't screw up and made enough, and gave yourself enough room, then you would make 1 rivet. You'll go through all the pieces in one shot. Okay, I'm really struggling today. There we are. Okay, so drill bit in. Let's check it, make sure it's straight. It is straight. You always want to spin it like that and make sure that the drill bit was installed straight. If it wasn't, then you need to pull it out and readjust. Okay, go ahead, bring the jokes on. I see the joke there. Rest in peace. I saw that. Actually, I didn't see that. Andy just told me. So we're going to go right in here and we're going to drill right through. Oops. Look at that. So I did go through the back side. So we're drilling through everything. Just like that. Dink and dink. All right. We'll take out our wire. My wire isn't straight, so let's straighten that. I like to straighten it between 2 bench blocks. Just like so. Ta-da! And we'll go ahead and put this through. Like so. And you want about 1 millimeter worth of wire on each side for the splaying. Okay. And we'll pull out our flush cutters and trim that. And you'll need either a riveting hammer or a chasing hammer. Gentle, gentle. Ah, okay. So as you can see, my wire fell out. This is where my tweezers come into play. Where are my tweezers? Oh, there you are. And I'm just going to insert it right back in. Go in. Oh my goodness. There we go. Oh no. Okay, it fell. It fell through. Do it like that. There we go. Okay. Pull out your riveting hammer. I promise this does work. Clearly I have a piece ready. And I'm just going to splay that. Just like so. It starts splaying. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the other side. Yes! That worked. So happy. All right, we're going to do one more. The second one. Sorry, my earpiece keeps falling out. All right, so we're going to put this in here. And try to work it through. Come on. Sometimes when it gets stuck like that and I can't seem to get leverage, I just use my pliers. And I see here that my cut on this side isn't flush. You really do want it to be flush if this is going to work. And we'll do it like so. And cut on this side. Put it down. And again. Display it like so. Actually, I'm going to go to the ball peen. I can't seem to get in there. So whatever you need to do to get in there to get that display. Okay, so I cut my wire a little long. It bent over on the back side, which is sort of okay too, but I'm going to go ahead and trim that. And I'm going to flatten that. Okay, so you can see the first one was done a lot better than that second one. But this is on there and it's nice and even. Okay? I just feel better if I tighten that up a little bit more. That's all. All right, so that's it. If you want to patina this, you can. If you don't want to patina this, you don't have to. All you have to do is add a little bit of liver sulfur. Give me a second here. I'm going to clean my mess up because I have made a hot mess of my desk. You see? I have made a hot mess. So hold on just a second. Let me get rid of this so that we can do a little bit of patina and then we're on our way. So the project is pretty quick and pretty easy. If you have any questions, do post them. Andy will relay them to me and we'll see if we can get them answered. But you know, riveting is a little bit of a fickle business. That's why I hate doing it. But we're doing it because we needed something different, right? Just something for fun. Of course, let's see, what else did I do today? I forgot water for liver sulfur. Hold on. So I'm just gonna use some of my quench water. And I'm gonna stick this in the microwave for a few seconds before I add my liver sulfur. Okay, so pull out a little bit of stinky stuff. Meaning what, honey? Oh, so the question was, is my original piece bent? The answer is no. And this one isn't bent either. Okay? It's a little warped, but actually now that I'm looking at it on the screen, it's an optical illusion because I'm sitting here looking at it, it is flat. So same thing here. This is flat too. But I suppose you can bend it if you want to. Okay, so heated a little bit of water. We'll throw our liver sulfur in there. I like to use plastic tweezers, A, to keep it off my fingers, and B, to keep it from doing anything funky to my my tools. So I try to keep that a little bit separated. Yes, Kathy, I'm going to say I need a drink after this. If you'd like to buy me a drink, a way to do that is to contribute with a contribution link that Andy posted. By the way, all the materials, not all the materials, but all of the tools that I use today can be purchased at theurbanbeater.com. So, and Andy has posted that link in the comments and pinned them where he could. Okay, so we're just going to put this in here. Yeah, I was honestly, before this all started, I was feeling like I needed a drink before we even started. So, hey, nothing like a little live on the internet to push you right over the edge. Okay, so I'm taking a little bit longer here in the liver sulfur because the brass is taking its time to patina, and I'd like it to be a little bit darker. This getting there, but it's not great. So you can see the copper is doing just fine, but the brass is just taking its time. Anyway, so what's happening this week? So excited. Metal immersion is finally here. You know, it came really quickly. It came up really quickly, but we've been waiting all year to be here. This is the annual event that I've been doing for 13, 14 years now. And although we're going virtual with it, I'm still excited because we're still going to socialize and we're still going to get together on Friday night, even though not everybody will be participating in classes. That's okay. And by the way, if you're one of those people and you want to participate in the social, you are very welcome to. Do look for the link on the Facebook page, or you can join the Metal Immersion Facebook group, and I will be posting the Zoom link there, so you can definitely join us to socialize and see what it's all about. Remember, the social this year, I am doing a cooking class, how to make traditional Vietnamese soup. It's called pho, not pho, okay? It's pho. So we're doing a chicken pho, and the recipe is on my my website also, if you're interested and want to do that. For everybody else who got in on it early, I sent out flavor packets, which was great. And it's sort of funny because I had someone contact me and say, you know, my package smelled a little funny until I figured out what it was. The spices that I sent? How about that? Anyway, I just thought that was pretty funny. And she said, you know, why does the package smell like licorice? Like, because there's licorice in there? So, yes, we are using licorice root to make this. Wow, you got black. So here, I just dried it off, and we're gonna use a bit of steel wool to clean it up. That's all, until you like it. But that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. The trick here is drilling and riveting, okay? Everything else should be, you know, pretty easy, right? So I say. And notice I'm working at this fairly aggressively, and it's all staying together, which is nice to know. Good news there, that the process does indeed work, okay? So, again, let's go over it. The original design, we'll go ahead and zoom in. The original design was overlapped, the wires overlapped, but my screwed up design does not overlap, and I drilled 2 holes and riveted both the holes. And I did get it to go into the back so that all the pieces connect. So whatever you want, you know, to however you want to approach it, however you want to do it, it all works, and it's pretty cool. Anyway, so that was the cold project. Next week, remember, it is the hot project, the hot tuxedo project. Hopefully that'll go a little bit easier. On Wednesday, we're going to talk about how to set up your workbench. I'm going to go ahead and do a bit of a studio tour. I have reorganized this whole workbench. You guys don't get to see it because the camera is that way and my workbench is in front of me. So I'll turn the cameras around so you can see what's going on and tell you what I have learned to be the best way to get things set up. So anyway, I hope you guys I got a little bit out of this, and then we will reconvene on Wednesday. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks for hanging in there. I know you guys watch this just to watch me screw up. I know you do. I know this is sort of funny. I'm going to laugh with it, and I'm going to drink with it too. So anyway, have a great rest of the week. We'll see you on Wednesday.